As we all know, Zhongli is one of the most mysterious characters, and when compared to the other Archons, he's just straight up an anomaly. And in this video, we will go over each and every anomaly. In almost every 2D cutscene, the facial features of the Archons are shown most of the time. But Morax is the only one who lacks eyes or sometimes just doesn't have any facial features. We have never seen the full, complete face of Morax in any of these type of cutscenes. All of the Archon statues hold a glowing circular object, except Morax, who holds a cube. When resonating with a statue, the object held by the Archon glows and emits a circular effect, except for the Archon Statue, which emits a square effect alongside floating yellow cubes. Some might say it's because Zhongli's powers are cube and square based, while the others have their powers sphere and circle based. But if that was the case, then why does Nahida have square and cube shaped attacks, if her statue holds a ball and emits a circular effect? This means that Morax's statue having cube motifs has nothing to do with his power, but with something else we don't know. Same thing here. All of the Oculi are balls except for the Oculi, and all of the visions from different nations got a circular center, except for the Liu visions. All playable characters, including the Archons, have their story quest title match the name of their constellation. But Zhongli's story quest title is completely different from his constellation. This is actually a trait that both Zhongli and Neuvillette share. If you want to know more about this oddity, you can check out this video I made. The Archons have dialogues very similar to the lines in the elemental gems.
However, winds change their course. Someday, they will blow towards a brighter future.
Mine is the most supreme and noble form. Let power over the realm be vested within me. In this form shall I honor my subjects' dream, for a land of eternity, unchanging forevermore.
And I even had a really long dream. In my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone in Sumeru City was holding hands as they danced in circles around me. They danced round and round, and everyone looked really happy.
The ones who haven't said their gem lines are the Geo Archon and the Hydro Archon. Considering the Fontaine quests and lore isn't done yet, there's still maybe a little chance that the Hydro Archon will speak those lines. As for Zhongli, he also haven't said his gem lines, but hopefully he does soon. So far, all of the Archons have a Honkai Expy. For example, there's the obvious ones like Vendi and Wendy, Raiden and Raiden Mei, Nahida and Teresa, who have white hair, same hairstyle, small model, cross motifs, and they share the same voice actress. According to the lore, Nahida was created by Ruka Devata, and Teresa was created from Colin's DNA. So that means Colin is the Honkai Expy of Ruka Devata. Then there's Farina and Sin Mao, who got the same hair at Hoge, two different eye colors, same personality, and kinda similar clothing style. Zhongli doesn't seem to have a Honkai Expy, or at least the community didn't agree on one yet. Some say it's Welt, others think it's Adam. Some say it's Sashang, and even Dan Heng is of suspicion. The Expys of the Pyro Archon and Cryo Archon are Murata and Bronya, respectively, according to players' theories. Even the unknown goddess has a Honkai Expy, so how come Zhongli doesn't? So far, all of the Archons got a sort of doppelganger, twin or double. For example, Vendi and the Nameless Bard, Raiden Makoto, Raiden A, and Raiden Shogun, Greater Lord Ruka Devata, and Lesser Lord Kusanali, Faceless, the divine consciousness, and Farina, the physical human body. And once again, Zhongli is the exception. As we all know, giving Wanderer certain names will unlock secret dialogues. For example, naming him after a playable character or lore-relevant non-playable characters like Paimon or Dane will make Wanderer tell you that it won't work. Naming him after his mother will tell you that it's a bad idea. But here's the thing, naming him after an Archon's demon name is allowed. But once again, Morax is the exception, alongside the name Traveler, which makes the game reject those names without giving an explanation. Moving on, Neuvillette talked about the Archons in his voice lines, and he mentioned their titles.
As the recipient of the authority of Anemo, the god of breeze and hope must also stand trial.
I was just a tiny elemental being who lived in the wind, a gentle breeze bringing subtle changes for the better, or tiny seeds of hope.
In taking the authority of Electro, the Narukami placed herself on the list of the usurpers. I must commend the god of Verdure on her sense of responsibility. As the Archon who won the authority of Geo, Deus Ori must be called to trial.
As you heard, Morax was referred to as
Deus Ori,
a title we have never heard of before. But what's interesting is that every Archon title mentioned is either in English or in the language of the nation, except for Morax's title, which is not even in English or Chinese, but in Latin. Neuvillette had the choice to refer to the Geo Archon as Rex Lapis or Morax, but he chose to refer to him in Latin. There's one ancient language in Genshin that is the equivalent to Latin, which is the primordial language, the one found in the ancient primordial civilizations such as Cell, Vindagner, Old Surumi, and even the Chasm. And believe it or not, Enkanami as well. And this isn't the only time this happens, because as you can see, all of the Archon's banner names are in English. And even Neuvillette. As you can see, Zhongli appears to be the only one with a banner name with a different language.
Vago Mundo.
In Latin means wander around the world. It seems like Zhongli is connected to the Latin language a lot. All of the Archons use flowers as their ascension material. Vendi uses the Cecilia, Raiden uses the Amakumo, Nahida uses the Calpulata lotus, Farina uses the Lakelight lily. Unlike the others, Zhongli doesn't use a flower, but a rock. This most likely has to do with the fact that the Archons seem to have a connection to trees. For example, the Windrise tree in Mondstadt heals Vendi from his injuries. The Sakura tree in Inazuma, which was planted by A with the help of Makoto. Ruka Devata being the avatar of Irminsul and Nahida, the purest branch snapped from it. The Harvest Ocum in the desert where the original Hydro Archon Agiria's consciousness remains. And finally, there's the tree in Liu, but it's not related to Zhongli in any way. But it's actually related to Azdaha, since that's his tail. So to recap, Morax is faceless in cutscenes. He holds a cube in his statue, while the others hold an orb. The Geoculus is a square. The Liu visions are square-shaped. His story quest title doesn't match the name of his constellation. He hasn't said his gem line. He doesn't have a Honkai Expy. He doesn't have a twin or a doppelganger. Can't name Wanderer after Morax for unknown reasons. Latin title. His banner title is in a different language. Doesn't use flowers as his ascension material like the other Archons. Doesn't have a tree he's connected to.